consolation offered me within your holy word. Help me, Lord, when toil and trouble meeting, and to take as from our Father's hand, one by one, the days, the moments fleeting, till I reach the promised land.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to everyone joining us today in our weekly circuit Bible study. An extra special welcome to anyone joining us for the very first time. A warm welcome to all who have joined us, whether here in the sanctuary or via Zoom or YouTube. This week, we have a special presentation on insurance and wills as we continue to reflect on being faithful stewards of what God has entrusted to us. Your usual interaction and the participation is anticipated through questions and comments. Let us hear from you in the sanctuary, on Zoom by a raise of hand, or on YouTube by posting in the chat. We will now blend our voices as we sing a few choruses. The first one, come let's magnify the Lord. Let us look to God in prayer. Yes. Let us pray. Loving God and our Heavenly Father, we bless you, we adore you. Indeed, you are King of kings and Lord of lords. We thank you for the gift of this day and the opportunities it brings. Help us to recognize our role as stewards of our daily lives, managing our time, resources, and relationships in a way that honors you. Guide our hearts and minds and inspire us to live out our faith in every moment. May our discussions tonight empower us to be faithful stewards in all that we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. The scripture reading comes to us from Philippians 4, verses 4 to 11. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. Let your gentleness be known to all men. The Lord is at hand. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your request be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue, and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. The things which you learned and received and heard and saw in me, these do, and the God of peace will be with you. But I rejoiced in the Lord greatly that now at last your care for me has flourished again, though you surely did care, but you lacked opportunity. Not that I speak in regard to need, for I have learned in whatever state I am to be content. The word of the Lord. My brothers and sisters, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our presenter. She has been employed to Guardian Life Limited since 2007. In her first year in the company, she was awarded Rookie of the Year. She is currently the president of the prestigious Production Club and a life member. She is a senior life underwriter and a community person. She has one adult daughter. My brothers and sisters, I speak of none other than Mrs. Frances Braham, who will come to you after the song, Take My Life, My Lord.
Take my sufferings, oh my Lord. Take my joys, take my tears, take my love. Take my memory, Lord. Take my understanding, Lord. Take my mind, take my freedom, take my will. Take my talents, Lord. Take my weaknesses, oh Lord. Take my secrets, take my sorrows, take my sins. Take me all that I am and make me empty of desire. For your love and grace are everything I need. Yours is my life. I abandon all I am to you, my God. Yours are my hands, oh, yours are my feet. My heart and soul are yours, my Lord and God. Take this breath, my Lord. Take this wine, my soul. Take my labors, though imperfect, they are yours. Take my soul, my Lord. Make me empty of desire. For your love and grace are everything I need. Yours is my life. I abandon all I am to you, my God.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for that intro. So I guess you would have heard a couple things about me. And one thing you didn't hear, which I don't know if most of you know, I do worship here. Yes, I'm a backbencher. So every time Rev wants us up here, he would say, under the balcony there is a bit too crowded, so come up front. But I'm always looking for the fan near to the window. Right, but I give thanks this evening to share with you a little of what I have garnered at Guardian Life in my 18 years. And to let you know that preparation is important. Promise, the Bible speaks of it, eh? And the Lord wants us to prepare and to be good stewards to our family, right? And so this evening, we're going to look at wills for a brief moment, and we're going to have an interactive session, okay? All right. All right, so a will is a legal document that outlines how you want your assets to be distributed after your passing. And I know it's a topic we don't like to talk about, but it's a very important topic, because if you do not have your wishes on paper, then the court will decide it for you. And I'm sure that's not what you want after you have worked hard and toil over the years for the court to be the decider of how your assets are distributed. Because unless everybody decides to be quiet after you have passed and don't try to own anything, then the court is who makes that decision for you when there is no will. Right? So the court, so even a cousin who you haven't heard about for years or probably have never heard about may just fall in line before your grandchildren based on how the court separates your asset, because they are now in charge. Your thoughts were not put on paper. Right? So it's very important that after you work hard, you make it known how you would want your assets to be distributed. So what are the benefits of a will? It ensures your assets are distributed according to your wishes. Appoints a guardian for a minor child or children. Reduces conflicts among family members, and it allows for tax-efficient transfer of assets. So, you know, there are times when there is untimely debt. Well, a debt is never planned for. But I guess after we reach certain age, we start to assume that, well, my time is coming. I had a neighbor who every morning when I saw him, I say, "How you doing, Mr. Haynes?" He would say, "One more day closer to the Lord." So he was always saying, you know, I'm going. But you know, sometimes there are accidents, there are unforeseen circumstances, and there comes a death that you never thought was going to happen. Or even somebody just gets sick and gone, and you never thought, it never come to mind that, you know, this person is ailing, and you look, you say, all right, I see the person going down, so then you say, okay, then there comes death. There's just some time when they are just wiped away from us. And so if a will is in place, now what we are saying is that the person's wishes would have been on paper, and this is how it will be distributed, right? Not to say the will is the all in all, because I know some people think that once you have a will, it ends there. But no, it doesn't, right? And I'm going to pick up back on that after I go. I'm going to tie it into something else. So you want to appoint a guardian for your minor children. So if you have children under the ages of 18, you would want to appoint someone in trust of them, so that upon death, then that person can take care of your smaller children. Question? Okay, all right. Why wills are important? It ensures your loved ones are financially secure, protects your assets and legacy, reduces stress and burden on family members, provides peace of mind and financial security. And one of the reasons why we normally encourage you to have life insurance is to help to see these financial burden not so much on your loved ones when you have passed, right? Because after making a will and after death, then the will has to be probated on for your children or whoever your beneficiaries are to now own those properties in their name. So you have a will to state your wishes, but then after that, for those wishes to become a reality, then there is probation. Probation is very expensive. To go through the court and probate on your will, that's expensive, right? I've seen children lost their legacy because they couldn't afford to probate on the will. I've seen children living overseas, they come here and they bury their parents and probably just forget about it and return. And when they finally remember and be back here, the cost for the probation is now almost the value of the property. Now you know the bank is not going to give you a loan for that probation because technically you don't own the property based on what it is now, because there is interest that is accrued to it if you don't do it within a certain time, right? So once the person has passed and there is a probation, you have 12 months to go through with it. After that, it starts accruing compound interest, right? So it now becomes very expensive. So hence why we encourage you to have life insurance. So let's say your assets value 12 million. And upon probation, it's a percentage of that. That's the cost for the probation. So let's say, just using wild figures now, let's say for your estate, it's 2 million calculated for your transfer tax for your estate. But you didn't go through with the process at the same time, so you're now at year 3. So this is how I see them compiling compound interest, which I've never seen it that way, but what they do is now multiply the 2 by the 3. So now you're at 6 million to probate on a 12 million property. Yeah. So I know some taxes have reduced since, and I don't have the specific number of the taxes now, but there is quite a bit. So the interest, and that's the thing, it's not that they're saying it's 5%. You mean the interest rate for what you pay for the probation? So it depends on what it is. It depends on what is it, but you can pay up to 25%. Yeah. So that is why we introduce life insurance, because life insurance, you have named beneficiaries. So your named beneficiaries will receive the proceeds of your life insurance so they can now probate, right? But I'm going to encourage you to speak to your lawyer in regards to wills and probation of wills. They are the persons who are licensed to do so. I have information on it, but I'm not licensed to do that, right? So I would encourage you to speak to your lawyers in regards to figuring out what goes on with your estate after you have passed. Insurance is a contract between you and an insurance company where you pay premiums in exchange for a financial protection against specific risks or events, example, death, disability, or critical illness, right? So you get an insurance representative, you speak to them in depth about what is it your concerns are, because I remember there was an article in the paper a couple months ago, and the health ministers were saying to the life insurance reps, do not sell pension plans without critical illness, because what is happening is that persons are becoming critically ill, eating out their pensions, and then at pension age there is nothing there. But if you have a critical illness plan and then a critical illness is diagnosed, then at that time you're paid so that you can go ahead and do what you have to do instead of going into your pension to look after these illnesses. All right? Benefits of insurance. It provides financial protection for loved ones, covers funeral expenses, debt, and outstanding bills, replaces income in case of death or disability, can be used as a savings for a vehicle or an investment tool. So sometimes we are going about our business and we have loans to get to where we want to get to. And then if there's a debt, there's that loan that needs to be paid. If that loan was not insured, because you can insure your loans, right? So you would have, if you die prematurely, then who you left behind has those loans to take care of, bills, funeral expenses, and the list goes on, right? So that's one of the reasons why we encourage you to look at life insurance as a means of income replacement, because that's what it really is. It's an income replacement. You're here today and you are getting your salary and you can do whatever you want to do, make your plans, educate your children, put things in place. But when death comes, then your income is out the window. So two persons are here taking care of a family. A death comes, one income stops coming in immediately, right? So one person is left to fend. So if you have insurance and that money is paid in, then that's a replacement of the person's income. So really, we should be looking at how the income will be replaced in the event of death when we speak of life insurance. It's not just something to bury you. It's something to ensure that your family continues. Your children, you'd want to see your children get a good education. So you have life insurance that if death comes, then that money can come in handy to have your family live a life you would have wanted for them. Any questions so far? Or you want to give me the questions at the end? Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my question is, you said earlier that something about it can cost us if we don't, is it do write our will, it would cost?
If you don't probate on the will, or if you don't?
Right, so is that, are you at risk of that cost if you write a will or if you don't write a will?
So if you write a will, there is something to probate on. So you have that cost. If you don't write a will, the government decides what happens to your assets.
So just to be clear, let's say my father writes a will before he dies. There will still be an
Probation?
probation.
Yeah.
And it's how many percentage of the value of what is endowed to you?
So there, at one point there was 25%. I know it has changed, and that's why I said contact your lawyer, because I'm not too sure of what the figure is now.
Oh.
Right? Because, and it adds up, it's not one thing that's at the 25%. It's different taxes that you pay that takes you up there to the 25%.
And how do you pay that? Is it, oh, you have to pay it cash, that's all?
Yeah, you have to pay that up front.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
Right. So you do that through Administrator General. Right. So, hence, you are asked to look at estate planning, right? So, some persons will say, boy, I don't have an estate, or, only Mr. Chin can leave a house for him children, and it's only the rich people can leave a legacy, because I can't afford even the one little house that I live in, never mind to have another one for my children. But you might not be able to do that, but you are able to buy life insurance and pay a monthly premium, and you will now have an estate, because that's what your insurance is now gonna form. So sometimes people look and they said, oh, I just want a little something for bury me. No. It should be more than that, especially if you have young children, right? Because you want to know that these children can get a good education and you can give them a start in life, right? So normally when I speak to a couple, I look towards estate planning to ensure that if one should be out, then the other person would have something to carry on. And what is estate planning really? Estate planning, the process of managing and distributing your assets after your passing, includes wills, trusts, powers of attorney, and other documents. Now, a will, things I don't encourage you to put on your will: your stocks, your bonds, your life insurance contracts. Those are some of the things we encourage you not to put on the will. Because when you put those on the will, what you're doing is inviting in the government, because he will have to get his 15%, right? So you are, just name your beneficiaries on your will. Your stocks and your bonds, have somebody on your account. Because when you leave that open, you're calling in the government to say, here's 15% more of what you have already taken. That's how I look at it. Because I would think that all the years of working, I am paying this tax, and I think what I've set aside, I would really want it to go to my children or whomever I choose to give it to. So with estate planning, your insurance can be used to fund estate planning, provides liquidity to pay estate taxes, other expenses, ensures that your beneficiary receive the assets you intend for them. So wills, insurance, estate planning, will estate planning and insurance align because insurance provides liquidity and protection, while a will and other estate planning documents provide legal framework for how assets and insurance proceeds are to be distributed. A will dictates how assets are distributed, while life insurance provides funds that can cover estate taxes, debts, or final expenses. Without needing to sell other assets together, they ensure that an estate can be settled smoothly according to your wishes and that your beneficiaries are financially supported. All right, so any?
What if the beneficiaries, after the person dies, and some years pass, and they try to probate the will, and they find out that they cannot afford it? What happens then?
They would have lost what you have left for them.
Lost it to who?
To the government. So I've seen families who have really lose out on those things. So, and I've seen some families in the country area, their properties, they didn't probate, but they will continue to utilize the property, but you can never get it in your name until you have done that probation. So if you're okay with just farming the property or doing stuff like that, that's fine, but you'll never get that title into your name unless you probate. So you can't really truly use it, because we know most Jamaicans use their titles to get a loan and to be better off. That's what we do. We are not the rich, so what we do is to use what we have to get to the next level, right? But if that legacy is left for you and you never probate on it, it will just eventually stay there and go to the government. Repeat? Yeah, because it's not legally yours. It's not legally yours. So it's important for that will to be probated on. And because look at it, if you don't, what it means is that your father, your grandfather would have worked hard and it just goes to nothing. Because even if you want to build that house, NHD is not going to give you a loan because you don't have a title in your name. So that's how important it is to make sure that you have things in place to do what must be done. And sometimes, we can do it through gifting, Before death, you can gift it to your child. That's something, again, I'm going to encourage you to speak to your lawyer on. So if you say to yourself, boy, if I write a will, it's just more expense, right? So you have properties and you have children and the Lord bless you and they're of age, you can now gift them the property before you die.
I have a question. So it's very interesting we're having this discussion, because I was in Manchester like just yesterday, and we are currently, my family, my father is writing, we're looking about something of that nature regarding will, where land is concerned, and a justice of the peace was instructing us that people are not using will anymore that much as before. They are resorting to another method called grant, something that has the word grant in it. I don't know if you're aware of it.
It could be gifting.
I think it's perhaps the same thing as gifting, because it has less trouble to it that the JP was saying. It's more easier to process and some benefits, so people are using that method rather than inheritance. So I would love to hear more about that.
All right, so like I said before, not a lawyer, but I know of gifting. So let's say in your father's case, 4 of you, and I'm just using numbers. It's 4? Oh boy. And he has an acre of land, right? And he's now saying that, you know what, I want my children to have this land. So he can now approach an attorney, and don't quote me on the gifting process, but through gifting, he can now have splinter titles, so you can each have a piece of the land in your name. It's less expensive and it's less hassle. But there's a thing where some people think that, boy, if me give them now, them are going to turn lazy and worthless, them not going to work hard. And some people have different things. Because I remember this lady who was my client, and she didn't have any children. And she had one nephew who was taking care of her. She got old, and he was there taking care of her, do everything, wash, cook, clean, right? And one day she told him that she was going to take him somewhere. And she took him to her lawyer, and she began the process of gifting. So she was going to give him whatever she has. And she did the paperwork, did everything. And they went back home. And when they went back home, he put on a big pot, and he was cooking and turned up the music. And he was having a party. And she scrambled out and she said to him, "What are you doing? What is this? You know, I can't manage the noise." And he said, "It's my house. You can't tell me what to do. It's my house." And so people are afraid of gifting, right? It's becoming more popular now. And I encourage my clients to do it. But if you can't get them to do it, then it's our duty to give them a will form. Don't leave it unattended to. Give a will form. Encourage persons, make your will. It doesn't mean you're going to die. It means you're putting your wishes into perspective. You're saying what you want to happen. That's all it is, right? I'm on my 6th will. Because you should improve on your will. So each, yes, right? Okay. So each additional asset you have, you should now upgrade your will to include everything. Because if you die and there's something not on the will and nobody's name is on it, then there goes another problem again, right? So right now I'm on my 6th will.
Probably before they die, call the 4 to Manchester and say, that piece is yours, that piece is yours, that piece is yours, and that piece is yours. No will. And when that person dies, very often it works, you know, everybody hold them corner. What is the advantage and disadvantage of that arrangement?
All right, so if them live loving and all them corners, that's good. And if they can build on that property, if that's what they want, without a loan, that's okay. But if you ever gonna think of getting a loan, that arrangement will not work. You need a title in your name, right? So death normally changes things, and we hope it not happen. So if it's a farmland, they might easier get away with it. And then sometimes you might just want to go into farming big, and you need a loan. And when you approach any institution, they're going to ask you for the title for that property. So while we grow up our children and we like to think that what we teach, they won't stray too far from it and they'll behave themselves, it's not going to benefit them. It's not going to benefit them the way you want it to. Because sometimes, I remember when I was 20, I saw a house was selling for $75,000. And I approached my father. And he was saying, where you think me forget that money from? I said, you know I have $75,000. And then he said, no. And, I sat with myself for a while and I said, oh, there is a gray area. Because in my head, $75,000 was a little bit of money. And my father should have been able to give me and him show me that him really never have it. Never earned that in his entire life. It's just because of ambition why he probably could have schooled me and the rest of children. And I used to see him going to his farm and then to his 9 to 5. Right? So him really never have it. But we sit and we assume little things in our heads growing up. That, okay, my father, my parents is going to give me this. And sometimes them themselves need it. Right? It's just pure being ambitious why you always have a roof over your head. They prepare, they try, and they do their best to make preparation so that house or a family setting is there. But it's really not there.
So, for the gifting, do you still go through a probation process?
No,
Okay.
because once the gifting is completed, the property is now in your name. So there's no need for probation. So you eliminate the probation. Right.
Does the land, for example, for land, does it need to be severed in order for you to process with the gifting?
I am not sure if it's a line item on the gifting, but I would think so, because a title will now come in place, because you'll now have splinter titles. So a title will now be in place, so more than likely you will need to get it severed.
For the gifting, do you still need a lawyer involved?
Yes, you should. You should. You should get a lawyer involved.
So, back to this probation thing. What would be a good advice? Because I'm just looking at something on Google. And it says that the executor or the administrator gets the value of the properties, right? Secures the value of the property. And that person now is appointed by the court, the administrator.
Oh, the administrator.
Administrator.
Yeah.
All right. So if we don't go to court to start this probation period, the court not going to know about the land, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
So it's best if we leave it alone if a long time the people them dead, not true?
Yeah.
All right.
If
okay.
a long time them dead, yes.
Okay, all right.
Because right
So,
now.
so don't start the probation period because now you're going to expose
No, you're
all
going
of
to
this,
expose yourself to all those taxes.
all of these taxes on it. And if you can't pay them, then they have the right now to come and confiscate
Right.
these lands, which are very valuable lands.
Yeah.
All right.
Because right now,
They're not gonna-
there's a will for my grandfather, and one of my uncles is saying, we need to probate, we need to probate. My grandfather's died 18 years. And I'm saying to him, look here, leave my mother alone, make sure live her life. Because the cost for the probation is bush land. Them land that way up a bush. not carrying a price. So I said, no, I'm not going to be a part of it. So, like you guys have been living good over the years, continue to live good. Yeah. No. No, you won't be able. So you can get loan, but the land will not be used as guarantee to get the loan. So you can get a normal loan to say, and it's gonna be hard because most time when you're getting a loan, the bank wants to know what you're gonna do with the funds.
People who operate in the informal setting, and some of the informal they know is underground and underhanded. But persons after a while wants to get in the formal sphere. Say my father left a piece of land for me. Just say word of mouth that is yours. And I take possession of that land at his death. And I am now in possession of that land for 25 years. What is the easiest and the cheapest way to get formal ownership?
So I know the government came in with something some time ago that after 12 years of paying tax, you can now own the land. So that would only help you if you were paying tax and have those tax
I'm
receipts.
paying the taxes.
Yeah, you're paying the taxes.
So by adverse possession then?
Right. So under that now, you can see how you can now get this land in your name because you have been paying the taxes.
And it would be relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, that's relatively inexpensive.
That's a way not to write a will and to.
You have to try and circle it.
But I know you say it's not that expensive, but is it? I know it can be vary based on the assets, but isn't there a little idea, a little
For the gifting?
the price? You say it's not like that expensive not so much the gifting, but as what Rev was the adverse possession.
Oh, the adverse possession? Honestly, I've never looked in depth into it. If there's a part two, I'll get the facts for you.
You have anything?
Let me not mislead you.
Right. And do you have anything on the gifting? Any idea on the gifting?
The
cost?
gifting? Well, the gifting now, majority of your costs will be legal fees. Right, because there is no funds your father will pay because it is clear that he is gifting you, he's not selling you, he's gifting you. So majority of your costs will be legal fees.
I know it could vary, but could you give us a little idea?
Let me see clarity on that one, and I'll make note of it and see how much information I can get. So that's cost on gifting.
And cost
and cost on adverse possession. Okay, so I'll look into that for you.
You have two executors on a will.
Mm-hmm.
What if one dies?
So you can have one executor on a will. What makes your will legal is a date. So if you have a will and there's no date on it, it's not legal. As simple as it sounds, the
Well,
date
the
makes
date
it.
is on it.
Right.
But
So,
one dies.
One dies.
Yeah.
That too, I need to see clarification on, because some wills give a percentage of the estate to the executor. Right? Because not everybody is going to do it for free. So whatever the person says is their charge, then they will have to get it from the estate, because the executor has the right to sell your property to clear off debts. So that it's a whole lot of responsibility you're giving an executor, you know. It's not a play thing. Can exercise is good judgment, not to have a cost, right? So the executor have rights, have a lot of rights when named, because if there are debtors calling to say that, okay, we know that Mr. Brown has passed, but he has a loan here of $5 million, and he has one over there, then the executor can step in. And if the executor pay those money from his person, then he has the right to retrieve it from the estate. But on your matter of one, so are you probating on the will?
No.
Do you plan to?
Well, so is it, I make the will?
Oh, you made the will.
Yes.
Oh, so it's good. It's easy then. Just change the executor. Just replace him. Yeah, so it's a good thing for you to do now, man. Just, you see? So all you need to do, you know, is write a new will with a new date, and that will has no part in anything now. So if you just write a new will. Online.
One more, please. Yes, my question is, you have already made your will, but based on the information that we have got now, is it possible that you can, what should I say, reverse the will now to a gifted?
Who has the will?
Pardon me?
Who has the will?
The lawyer.
The lawyer. So that's a discussion you're going to go in and sit with your lawyer and say, you know, I've decided to go gifting instead of leaving this will in place. Right? Because you have, the lawyer have it for safekeeping, so which means he was the one who made it. So now I want to change things. I no longer want to, I want my children to benefit now.
So whether the lawyer has it or you have a copy, does it really matter?
So one other thing is, you remember I said that I'm on my 6th will? So what happened is, if I know, let's say when I made my will, and a year after I acquire something else that I want to put on my will, I write a new will.
Okay.
Because I don't write, right. Because I've never given a lawyer my will. I keep my will in safekeeping. So I just destroy the first one, write a new one, because the date is what makes it legal. So even if I don't destroy it and somebody find it, so let's say I had 4 beneficiaries, and I decide to not give one of the beneficiary anything again, and I change my will and it now has 3 beneficiaries. But the one with the 4 was dated 2023. And the one with the 3 is dated 2025. It's the 2025 that will stand up in court.
Yeah. Okay.
The most recent will. Cancels all. And it does says it at the top. And that's
I
the thing,
think-
you know.
I
You
think
can
what you
give
want
to,
to
you can
find
give to
out
charity, you know.
is whether or not having written a will. What if you went directly now to do gifting? Does that cancel the will?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's a question I want to know.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Because you now say, you now go to the lawyer, you say, quarter acre is for John, half acre is for Mary. And I remember I tell you, don't put the bonds on the stock on the will because you're inviting in the government. And I
Right.
think we're already heavily taxed. Mr. Prime Minister, yes, I said that.
So-
So,
We do have a few questions from YouTube platform.
okay.
Opal Whitaker is asking, please explain how the insurance policies work where they are assigned to estate. In the event of death, how easy is it for beneficiaries of a will to get the proceeds if it's not to be included? Included, yeah. Right.
All right, so the first part of the question, I hear she's saying if the insurance is assigned to the estate.
The insurance policy works with, please explain how the insurance policies work where they are assigned to estate.
All right, so one of the first thing I want to tell you, if you have your insurance policy and you have estate on it, please go change it tomorrow morning. You're inviting in the government, and upon death, your children will not have access until the government gathers all that you have and there is a probation being done. So if your insurance policies is not saying John Brown 20%, Mary Strokes 50, and Tom 30, please go change it. The second part of the question? To change it?
In the event of death, how easy is it for the beneficiaries of a will to get the proceeds if it's not to be included? Oh. Yeah, okay.
So how easy it is from the insurance. All right. So in my 18 years, I've had one claim denied. And I've had many. So I want to say there are a couple of things that can hold up your benefits. The agent did not do the work properly at day one. So I need to admit your age on the system, and I did not ask you for your birth paper or your passport. And that's the only two documents that can admit your age. So you come into the claim, and the customer service rep tell you that the person's age is not admitted, and you need to bring in a birth paper or a passport. Because some years ago, it was not a must for you to have evidence of age to get the insurance. No, the insured. Right. So it was not a must for you to present evidence of age to get the insurance. So people would use their ID to purchase the insurance. And then we found out that the ID was not carrying the correct age. So I remember there was a claim where when the person died, we found out that the person was actually 4 years older. So which means they were not paying the correct premium. So when they ask you for the evidence of age, is to ensure that the age we have on the system is what you really are. So that can hold up your claim. 2, let's say it's a sudden death. We need we need something from your medical doctor to state what happened, right? So for us to get that document to you to take to the doctor to have it filled out, that can hold up your claim. Thinking of another one that can hold it up. Not coming to mind now, but those are some of the things that can hold up your claim. Outside of that, your claim should be smooth sailing.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to take Rev first. We have different policies, and each policy carries a different weight. So we have a policy that if you die within 48 hours, we should pay. So that pink piece of paper that you get, that can make your claim. We have another policy that cannot make your claim. We need the original death cert from RGD. And we also sometimes accept cause of death. So you didn't get the pink piece of paper, but they gave you that white piece that says cause of death. Some of them we can use that to make the claim. So it depends on what you have. So normally what I do, so I sit with Rev and I propose to him a $10 million coverage based on what he tells me, who he wants to get what and whatever. And I sell him that $10 million coverage, and that is in place. But I will come back to him and I'll say, Rev, it's important for you to have a final expense insurance. That's the insurance that pays within 48 hours. So what I'm actually doing is setting your funeral okay. So they will collect that, the funeral will happen, and then you can now go get the paperwork to get the additional amount. So that, you know, sometimes you hear people say, boy, I have insurance and in dead I can't get it. But I sold the $10 million policy and didn't bother to go back to say, look, if you die suddenly, Guardian Life is going to want a medical report and it will take some time. So let's put this in place for burial. A second insurance, right? But as the agent, you need to know what to go back and say to the client and have the client believing in you and know that you're doing the best thing for them. Because that $10 million coverage is not going to pay 1, 2, 3. They're going to want something from your doctor. And some of these doctors, when we send for the information, it takes forever to come back. Right.
So I'm here thinking, I benefited from a will from my parents, and I built a house on a piece of land. Mm-hmm. Right. The land is not probated, the will is not probated. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give me? How would I now make a will?
You can't will it. It's not yours.
What is this?
So you're going to have to pray that the children them live good and them stay there until whichever one can move out and go fend and them go and live nice and comfortable.
Rainbow is asking, my understanding is that the process of gifting can take a few years for processing. Is that correct?
Yes, and it depends on your attorney. It can take a while. And that's why some people don't want to do it. They're still stuck with the will.
A while could be like 5 years?
I think each situation is different, and it's based on who you have as your attorney. What interests are they putting into it? Because it can be done in 2 years, you know. But it can be drawn out too.
All right.
I am told that if you buy stocks and bonds solely in your name and wish to add someone's name after, you cannot do so. You will have to include it in a will. Is this true?
Not sure.
Not sure.
So that's something that your banker will have to inform you on. But stocks and bonds, I'll check that out too. Because you know what I noticed? NCB, well, shouldn't call any name. There's banks that if the person is not there in person, you can't put that person's name on your account. So probably this could be a fact. And they're telling you that make a will. Because if I want to open an account, my daughter isn't here, I can't put her name on it. They need her to come in person. So there was a time when they would have given you the documents to send to the person to sign and bring it back, and I noticed some of them are moving away from it. So it's a possibility that the stocks and bonds could be following suit. All right, so remember, your life insurance proceeds can provide liquidity for your beneficiaries. It protects your assets. It ensures smooth distribution, flexibility, and maintain control. With your life insurance, you can really maintain control of who gets what and how you disperse it, right? Wills and insurance are essential components of a comprehensive estate plan. They provide financial protection and security for your loved ones. Estate planning ensures that your assets are distributed according to your wishes. Insurance can be used to fund estate planning. So my recommendation to you, review your will, your insurance policies regularly, update your estate plan, and just make sure things are in line. What you work hard for goes into the right hand.
I am going to ask you to give me an honest, forthright answer to this question. I'll probably ask two questions. What are some of the downsides to having an insurance?
There is no downside to having an insurance, but one of the things that a lot of people fear is the lapse of a policy, the affordability to maintain. But it's not really a downside, but a lot of people have that drawback because if you don't pay your premiums and that policy goes into lapse, and God forbid that person died during the time when the policy is in lapse status, then there is no benefit.
That's a big downside.
So,
I know you don't want to call it that, but you are being honest.
But guess what now, Rev? Remember, it's an agreement between you and the company. The company say, if you pay your monthly premium and anything happened to you, if it's even 3 months after you buy the policy, and you had the coverage for 10 mil, and 3 months after, you go down the road and crash or whatever it is and die. Once that policy had hit the books, and you even just pay 2 premiums, we have to pay the $10 million.
Well, that is what brings me to the next. It's not a question, it's probably more an observation from one who has had insurance for over 30 years now. And my observation is that in terms of getting a payout from the insurance company, an untimely death would have greatly advantaged me. But because I have not had an untimely death for 30 odd years, what I was insured for 30 odd years ago don't make any sense now. If I had died right after I was insured then, my wife would be sitting easy now. Because what she got then would have been a good amount, but it don't make no sense right now. And to maintain it at a value that makes sense, the premium keeps going up. And after a while, when you're getting up, your ability to service it at a level that makes the payout, becomes a little more challenging.
Well, one of the things is, Rev, I'm here to tell you, insurance premiums very rarely go up. What goes up is your age. And premiums are calculated by your age. So, it's not the premium that go up. It's we getting mature. And that's why in my recommendation I said, review your will and your insurance policy. Because you want to be in touch, you want to be in line. You want to have something that makes sense in the day and time, right? And so you have to increase the policies. And another thing that I find out 30 years ago to Rev, is that those policies never carry no investment feature on it. So right now you don't have no cushion. Because one of the things that I make sure I do is to have an investment in your portfolio. So like Melissa just hit, I get calls upon calls. How much can I get from my policy? How much can I get from my policy? Right? And this is the reason why I would always say to them, look, let's increase this. Because you don't know when the catastrophe is going to come. And I've seen people tell me that, I'm not buying none, I'm going to put my money in the bank. And 7 years later, I visit, and the account not open. But because they know that the policy will lapse, they try to pay it. So in these difficult times, you can benefit. But then again, if you weren't sold properly, because I'm not going to stand here and go on like all of us are saints and Miss Goody Goody. You have some agents who really don't take time out to sit with you and let you know the living benefits. Because a lot of us can say, boy, if me dead, they must bury me. And we have a famous little saying in Jamaica, but you would want to know that when you retire, because most of the government pensions are not clicking in immediately as you retire now. So you would want to know that when you're retired, you have a lump sum somewhere, you can go take it off and relax a bit and, feel good that you were putting things in place. So one of the things to that, Rev, is if you hadn't increased the policy, you would have been having some living benefits now, because you would have been able to take some cash from the policy. Right? Because a lot of people don't even know that to get compounded interest on your money only comes from an insurance company. The money that you put in the bank, it's the only way to get compounded interest is to have an investment with an insurance company. It's the only institutions that pay compounded interest. So really, it's our duty, it's our downfall when people are not knowledgeable of what is there. We should spend time to make people educated, because me speaking to you here in this forum is not even going to educate you. I need to sit with you one-on-one, because everybody's situation is different. You understand? It's a personal thing. I'll just come and sensitize you, but really, we need to sit for you to get to the real meat of the matter and know what is there and what you can invest your money in.
Another question on social media as we wrap up is, can you give somebody without they knowing?
I'm not sure because a title is involved. So I think some signing is involved there. So the person would have to know. So that's why you're going to get splinter titles. So each person would now have their title. So they would cut that mother title, would no longer bear an acre. You would probably now have 4 titles representing quarter acre. If you look at it, it could be more beneficial to your children than to do a will. If you look at it another way.
At the age of 65, after paying years of insurance, would there be any benefits?
Depend on what you were paying into. Remember, I just tell you that I'm not going to stand there and going like all of us do what we're really supposed to do. It depends on what you were paying into. So if I had sold you a life insurance policy with an investment portion to it, yes. And it depends on how we talk to our clients too, because you have some top-heavy investment that has very little life insurance. So if you were saying to the person that, let's put this plan in place for when you retire, you'll have a lump sum, and the person listens and don't come in and take it off every year, at 65, that person should be sitting good. So you have to culture your clients. Understand? So when you're going to sell a policy, make sure a need is established. Not just tell it, why? Yeah, a long time I come to church and I can't support me, man, buy one policy. A sit down is needed. What is it this person wants? What are you going to give my company your money for on a monthly basis? What's the benefit to you? So if that person was sold with 65 in mind, that person should be sitting good.
Okay. My little question is a little bit sentimental. I don't know if you could help me with it. I doubt it, but I still feel like I want to vent. The probation fee, it could be around 25% of the value. Now imagine the value of whatever assets you have is like millions. Who creates these laws, and what's the justification behind it? It's ridiculous.
So you have the Minister of Finance, and you have the local government, and you have all of them who come together and decide that, okay, we will get this amount of funds from this area. So you hear when they tell you that, oh, we get this from gas tax, and this from GCT, and that's just how it is. And mind you, some of the bigger estates have a lesser fee. The rich will always be richer.
I know the rich have a way of studying tax laws, you know.
And that's how gifting came about.
Okay.
The rich is not going to give you back what they have gotten. Right? So that's how gifting came about. So I can give it to my children now. I don't have to face estate taxes and transfer taxes and all of that.
So the gift is not really for the benefit of the rich.
Yeah. Laws. Listen to me. The Bible is a very good place. to start. The Bible. If we read this Bible, dissect it, you will realize that you have to educate yourself in a way that certain things don't bite you. I can't put it no clearer than that.
Very good.
So, in my ending, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for just. Please, make your pitney then get where you work hard for. Plain Jamaican language. Don't leave it up to chance. Do what you need to do.
Make someone get what you work hard for. Sometimes,
yes.
sometimes they pick me on the best person to leave it
That
because
is
them all
true.
squandered.
That is true. Because we have charity, and you can give to charity, charity is a very good way of, you can give to charity. So you have somebody that you think this person really need a strength, you can. And you have charitable gifting where, it's not going to cost you. All right, so
And we have the
any other
church.
questions for me? Okay. So I'm going to see who was listening. Okay.
For the gifting, if the title is not yet in your hand, you're still paying for the property. God forbid something happen. How that works?
So you're in the process of acquiring the
land
the
or
land.
property.
Title is not yet in your name. Truth and in fact, I don't fear yet. I don't fear yet. So I hope say you and your lawyer have a good discussion, and it's either you select joint tenancy or tenancy in common. So what it means is that if monies were paid over and you're at that point and it's joint tenancy, now it now belongs to your lovely husband, and if it's tenancy in common, it belongs to him and whoever else's name is there. So that's all you're going to rely on for right now, because I know you're one yet. All right, so what's a will?
A legal, documented inheritance given to whomever you wish.
Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. So it's whatever you have, you put it in writing, and it's to be distributed accordingly. What's your name?
Sion Row.
Sion Row. Okay, Sion. I'm going to give you one of my personalized cup.
And I receive it with personal gratitude. Thank you.
What's the benefit of life insurance? Even one.
So a life insurance can be used to cover expenses, like, for example, to probate a will. In the event you pass on, you made a will, the insurance policy can pay for that, for the probation of the will.
Yeah, your beneficiaries have
beneficiaries will
access
have
to
access.
funds to pay for that, pay for the. All right. Should I give you one of my personalized cup? Yeah.
I hope that one not personalized like mine, you know.
All right. Should you have named beneficiaries on your insurance or just put estate?
Name beneficiaries.
About three persons answer, you know.
Four persons answer.
So right here. All right, so we have just completed our 25th anniversary. So I'm going to give you one of our anniversary pen. All right, so thanks for having me. And make use of the information.
Thank you.
Let me, on behalf of our pastor and members of the circuit, say thank you to Ms. Braham for such an insightful presentation. I can assure you that the information garnered here tonight will be used effectively. At this time, I'm going to invite our pastor to come with the notices.
Good evening, everyone. I use the opportunity to join the welcome to all who've come here and the scorers who are sharing via the YouTube and the Zoom platforms. To also say thanks to Mrs. Braham for coming and for sharing that, yes, very, very valuable information. In keeping with our celebration of Stewardship Month, and she kept saying that a responsible way to ensure that that which we work for is dispensed with in a meaningful way is by going the various routes that she has indicated, some more advantageous than others. Writing of a will, the gifting of things, and yes, the acquiring of appropriate insurance. By way of announcement, I just want to give a little update on our ongoing effort as a circuit to respond to the needs that have been created, mainly in the west of our island, by the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa. You all will have known that we were able, maybe in record time last week, took just about a week, to mobilize 2 teams. One went to Friendship in Hanover and one to Dias in Hanover on Saturday, where we were able to offer services by way of medical services, doctors and nurses and pharmacists and dentists and psychologists and optical personnel were on hand. In DAS, I think over 100 and odd persons were registered to see the doctor. In Friendship, over close to 50 persons were registered. 2 houses were worked on to provide a little more shelter for those who lost shelter during the hurricane season. We were able to, in both locations, prepare a hot meal that up in Friendship, everybody pretty much was fed. Up in Das, I think, pretty close to 400 meals were served. And if we had 400 more, it would have been taken. It was a tremendous effort that was undertaken with just about 1 week planning. I think when all is told, given what we spent and what we got by way of gifts, we probably carried with us on both trips pretty close to $2 million worth of stuff. We are grateful to those who partnered with us. I did make mention of some on Sunday, a team of doctors that were assembled by Sister Cecile with nurses and counselors. The Chemtech, through the facilitation of our brother Sheldon Toller, we were able to carry about 42 sheets of zinc and help to zinc off a couple roofs. The Sandals Foundation brought in some stuff, and other persons. Persons just heard about the thing and came and offered tremendous support that assisted that process. When we left, having done all of that, we recognized more than anything else that with all that we took down there, it was nothing more than a drop in the ocean. A drop in the ocean. The needs are just overwhelming. And so from the outset, we did say that we are committing to be in this thing for the long haul. So Saturday was not a one-off. Sunday, I remarked that when persons got back here on Saturday night, everybody was just weary and tired. And yet, everybody was anxious to go again. So they were weary and tired, but they weren't weary and tired in doing good. And it is for that reason that we are already looking at how we can continue to respond. And just this afternoon we met. We had a debriefing of all that took place, and we were looking as to the way forward. And we are wanting to go again in another 2 weeks from Saturday, another 2 weeks, giving ourselves 2 weeks. In fact, I think we want to suggest to the circuit that we make 2 trips before Christmas. This time we'll not be going to 2 places on one day, but we'll go to 1 place. Hopefully on the 2 weeks from Saturday last, and the second 2 weeks from that one. So I'm suggesting, announcing it here, and for those who are joining, that yes, we're not going to grow weary in well-doing. I was not surprised, but I was tremendously blessed by the great outpouring of love and support that we evidenced here as people came from all over, from the circuit. Our members came in droves and brought many things for the support. And we're going to be depending on that kind of outpouring, at least for the next 2. As I said, we want to do one on the 6th, 2 weeks from Saturday, and we want to do one, a special Christmas one, about the 20th. About the 20th. One of the things we were saying, Deacon, is maybe we might have to start to pivot to target some things, because the need for housing and for shelter was just stark. And we're getting into the rainy season. And there are some persons, once them see the cloud set up right now, they are traumatized because they have nothing to shelter them from the rain. The house going wet up again, the clothes them going wet up again. So we probably want to look at that as maybe part of our effort going forward. How we can maybe carry more material and do a little more work. If we can expand tradesman team. So we are looking forward to going in another 2 weeks. And we are thinking of 2 locations. When I was seeking for a place for the first one place that we got a Macedonian call from that we weren't able to go was Darliston in Westmoreland. Superintendent Minister in that area has indicated that it has been completely devastated and it is one of the greatly neglected areas. That there are a lot of areas that have been devastated, but the aid to them is a little slow. And Darliston, we're made to understand, is one. So we are contemplating Darliston. In fact, after the meeting, I spoke to the Superintendent Minister again before I came to Bible study. And he, again, concurred that this is an area of need. But he's going to do some calls and some contacts between now and tomorrow and to inform us so that we can probably drill down on Darliston. And we are hoping that maybe the one just before Christmas will be some place here in St. Anne. Because people don't seem to realize that there are parts of St. Anne that has been devastated. And we're looking at the Anion Town K Valley area as a possibility for that one. So I'm wanting to give us a heads up to say, you know, we're not resting on our laurels. We want to be ongoing in our effort to reach out and to do so with as much urgency as possible because the situation is urgent. And I tell people that where we are now, we mustn't fool ourselves in thinking that things are happening, that things will get better. Where we are now, things are going to get worse for some people before it gets better. And so we want to address those situations. So it is an announcement, and it is to just send out the appeal again, you know, that we are depending on the continued generosity of all of us, thanking God as we do that He spared us, but recognizing that God spared us so that we can help others. We have a Guardian group rep here tonight, and I think our preacher here for Sunday will also be a Guardian, former Guardian life, Hosing, the former big man. He will be the preacher here on Sunday. All right.
We will now worship God with our monetary gifts. During the collection, we will sing, "Give It with Love." Let us look to God in prayer. Let us pray. Loving God and our Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for the gifts that we have collected. We ask that you will bless and receive. We thank you for the time we have spent in your presence. We are grateful for the insights and understanding you have provided us tonight. Empower us to be faithful stewards of all that you have entrusted to us. as we go our separate ways. Keep us united in spirit and help us to remain committed. Bless each person here and their families, and may we continue to seek you in all that we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Receive the benediction. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Amen. The closing song, Take My Life, My Lord.